So what actually are you? Are you a label that someone else has given you, or maybe a label you've convinced yourself of being? Are you a father, a mother, an athlete, a teacher? Are you someone who's not good enough or has to do things in order to receive love or be worthy of love? Are you someone that feels that you need to go out there and do things and prove yourself? And then finally, when you prove yourself, you will be worthy. You will be someone who has earned love, admiration, validation, maybe whatever else it is, abundance. Is that what we are? Well, in my eyes, that is not what we are at all. That is what we have been conditioned into believing is important and what we actually are. But what we truly are is the infinite awareness of this very moment. What we truly are is source, divinity. We are an individuation of divinity, a divine, infinite, co-creative being that for whatever reason decided to come here and occupy these bodies and then have a spiritual experience in these human bodies. You are essentially infinite awareness having a human experience. You are not the body, you are not the mind. How you know you are not the mind is you've probably had labels and stories of what you believed you were from your mind, from your ego. And I guarantee some of those stories have fallen away or you've outgrown them, and yet here you still are. And you might not remember it, but even before you came into this body, you were still here. I know, again, we go through like this kind of amnesia as we come into this human body, but you were still here despite not being in this particular body that you find yourself in right now. And so you can't be the body, and you also can't be the mind and the constructs of the mind. So what is it that you actually are? And again, in my eyes, you are the infinite awareness, just having a human experience. You are the eternal soul, the divine, infinite, co-creative being that is all that is, and is also connected to that in this dualistic experience. But in order for you to experience that which you really are, you had to come into this 3D world that works on relativity, that works on duality, because for you to actually experience what you are, you have to also have the opportunity and the choice to experience that which you are not. Now, none of this you have to take on board and use your own discernment when coming to this. And you could absolutely try and go out there and prove me wrong. But you can also try and go out there and prove me right. And when you go out there and aim to prove this right and connect to that which you actually are, this is when the heaviness starts to fall away because you're no longer identifying with it. This is when lightness and joy and peace and love starts to flood into your life effortlessly because that is your divine right. And all you really need to do is connect to that which you are, which are those things for that to come in. Life truly in this 3D experience starts to change when you connect to this. And again, all you need to do to prove this to yourself is to connect to it more, is to do the inner work, is to just go to what you're being drawn to from an intuitive point of view, because your intuition is going to lead you to the things that are going to open your eyes up to more of what you are, going to lead you to the practices that are going to connect you more to what you actually are, to that infinite awareness. It's going to bring you more into that than, again, hooking into the stories you've been fed since you were a little kid, or you've been fed by yourself over and over again through your subconscious mind that aren't actually you. And again, you know that because you've had stories in the past you told yourself that you thought were absolutely you. They fell away, and yet here you still are. Now, I'm not saying this will happen overnight, especially if you've lived a lifetime up until this point of hooking into the stories, giving more emphasis to the physical, and really just perpetuating these identities over and over again. You've gotten pretty good at that, most likely. I got really good at that in my life in the past as well. So it takes a little bit of time. But the more you connect to that which you actually are, the more you do the inner work, the more you follow your excitement, the more you shift from 3D level of thinking to 5D level of thinking, which just means from the physical and thinking the physical is all there is, to the spiritual, to the inner world, to the soul. The more you do that on a daily basis, the more you put your focus there, your very powerful focus and attention on that, the more you will start to feel the effects of this, the more you will start to notice the changes, and the more you will start to train yourself to look and think and move in this way versus the old way of being tethered to these old identities, these old patterns, and these things that actually bring heaviness, suffering, and pain into your life. The great thing is the choice is you can choose either reality. You can choose to continually live down the 3D reality of believing this is all there is and that physical reality is base reality and doesn't come out of anything, or you can choose the reality of the 5D, which is connecting more to what you actually are, your spirit, your soul, source, God, whatever label you want to use, and then reap the rewards and benefits and the byproducts of what comes out of connecting from this place. Now, if you want to learn some things, instead of me just saying, oh, you can choose both realities, let me actually give you some tools that'll help you do that. So in this video, I'm going over how you can shift from 3D to 5D and start moving more in that way, some habits, behaviors, and things you can do in order to start that process. So I recommend watching that video next, and I'll see you over there.